MMA here, bringing another fight review. This one from the latest episode of The Ultimate Fighter Season 17, Episode 6, Path to Greatness, the fight between Josh Samman and Tor Troeng. I'm just going to call the man Thor. It's a lot easier to do that, and it sounds badass saying Thor. They made a little hammer for him before the fight, which was quite interesting to see. Josh kind of went into one this was favourite. That was quite obvious. It was kind of the well put together fighter against the guy who might be able to out cardio him, sort of thing. Sonnen seemed to think you could kind of see at the back of his mind, yeah, maybe Tor's going to win this fight through just grappling and outworking him. He did. Got him down early on. They kind of clinched up against the cage. Josh threw a few really good punches. Thor kind of took them and then got him up against the cage, dragged it to the mat, got in guard, put a bit of damage on him. Josh managed to get back up to his feet quite comfortably, beat him up. On the way up, there was like a series when he had him sort of pinned up against the wall where he was kind of trying to take the back, kind of not, and he landed sort of 7 or 8 clean punches to the face, which is would have looked good in the judges' eyes. Not that it was needed, of course, because the fight did not get out the second round. Bit more groundwork. They clinched again. Sonnen was saying, you've got to get him down to the ground, you've got to work, be active, be active. Tor went to throw him down, completely failed, kind of stumbled. Josh blitzed him. It looked very much sort of Vitor Belfort style, actually, the way he blitzed him. It was like left, right, left jab, set him off balance. Thor kind of dropped his hands, which, as Sonnen says, he never does in the training bouts. He tried to throw an uppercut as Josh was coming in. Probably would have been better off just blocking up and then landing the punch, because Josh comes in, he lands a big right hand, which lands straight right hand, which lands perfectly on Thor's chin. And his legs just go. He actually hits him perfectly as well with a left, which is literally just clips the chin, which is the best part to knock someone out with, or either that or behind the ear. If you click him just on the chin, it's maximum head movement. The brain moves about as much as possible, and he goes down. You can see why he's knocked out. The punch was perfect. They teach you hands up, chin tucked to avoid that very thing in boxing or in MMA, and of course he didn't do that and got knocked out as a result. So yeah, Josh looked impressive. He showed. He's got sort of all parts to his MMA game. He went down to the floor. He showed he can grapple, got back up nicely, fought with him against the fence. He was clearly much better in the stand-up than Tor was. They were saying this might be the fight of the season. Obviously it wasn't. There have been better fights already. But it has been a great season so far. I'm really enjoying it. There are actually knockouts and things like that this time. There wasn't in the last season. Season 16 was horrendous. It was just boring decision after boring decision. A lot of the guys aren't in the UFC as a result. These guys are fighting, I would say, with more on the line than other seasons of Ultimate Fighter. The other seasons of Ultimate Fighter go back to the early days where you got people like Michael Bisping and Rashad Evans, all those guys coming out of the Ultimate Fighter, Roy Nelson. Back in those days, it was kind of like, if you're on the Ultimate Fighter, people followed it, therefore you're kind of guaranteed to get to the UFC. But Dana White has come out recently and said, look, we have too many fighters in the UFC. We need to be cutting guys. They've obviously just imported all the guys over from Strikeforce. He's saying we have too many, we're going to have to cut some. So these guys, it's a much more stacked UFC than it ever has been. If they want a place there, they're going to really have to show something. It's not enough to be on the show, you get a place, maybe you get one win, you get a place. No, you either have to win the show, fight really impressively, or do something incredible, or be an incredible personality. I mean, if you're a really weird personality, then you're in. Someone like Uriah Hall, for example, there's been a lot of talk about him in the house, saying he's a bully and all these sort of things. Obviously, that knockout will mean he's automatically in the UFC, for example. But yeah, what was interesting after the fight was Josh was saying he now thinks he's the #1 seed. I disagree with that. I don't see how. I mean, obviously, some of the top guys at the beginning, you've obviously got Josh. He was there from the beginning, trying to take sort of the leadership role. You've got Bubba McDaniels, who has obviously now lost. He would have been right up there. But for me, the #1 seed has got to be Uriah Hall. The guy's an animal in training. They all say that. He probably delivered the most vicious knockout I've ever seen inside the octagon. That wheel kick was just unbelievable. So I think he's definitely the favourite, if we're honest. But this is a good fight. Really enjoyed it. They both showed skills. Tor might be in a chance for the wild card. I'm not sure about that. Possibly not. I think maybe someone like Bubba might deserve it a bit more. But fair play to Josh. Jones gets the hammer. And he's put a boxer up against a grappler for next week, which is interesting because the grappler nearly always wins, even though he picked the fight. Sonnen was saying it was a bit crazy, which I agreed with. But then I thought about it a bit some more, and I thought, well, boxers always lose to grapplers, right? But then of course, you have Junior Dos Santos that just completely rewrote the books on that one. He completely disagreed, and he managed to beat grapplers all the time, and he's a high-level boxer. So we'll have to wait and see. Can't wait for next week. This has been MMA, bringing another fight review. Please remember to like and subscribe, and keep your eye out for more videos. They'll be on the way shortly, guys. See you later.